Hey everybody, Justin, Michael, Williams here with the Business of Yoga. Super excited to be here with all of you guys today. So I'm just gonna wait a second to make sure everything is working properly. If you are here live and you can hear me, I would love to make sure that everything is working. So if you can type into the chat box to let me know that you can hear me or that you can see me, I would be so grateful. So if you can hear me, if you can see me, type into the chat box so that I know that everything's working properly. I'm super excited to be with you guys today. Unfortunately, Karen is a little bit sick, but she sends all of her love. She's not feeling too well, so she asked me to handle this webinar on my own, so you're stuck with just me. And it's all good. Okay, great. Amanda, you can hear me. Jennifer, all is well. Great. So I'd love for you guys to type in where you're chiming in from. Where are you listening in from? We always have teachers from all over the world. Karen and I, we always feel so blessed because as you guys probably know, those of us worked with us, is we practice every single thing that we teach you guys. And one of the big things that was one of our visions when we were starting the big business of yoga is we wanted to be able to help yoga teachers from all over the world. And so building this online platform has been really incredible because we've had teachers from over 40 countries now. Wow, look at this already. We have Baltimore, London, Canada already typing in here right now. So just there, we have 3 countries on the webinar. So thank you guys so much for being here. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what the purpose of this webinar is, what we're going to do on this webinar, and then we'll get right into the teachings. And then please don't hang up because I have something very special to offer you guys all at the end of this webinar. And we have 2 people from Canada. Woo! All right. So first things first. What we're doing on this webinar is this is a Q&A webinar for you guys to ask us questions about both the Business of Yoga online course and about your questions related to the yoga business. This is a chance for you to ask us any questions that you have related to your yoga business, opening a studio, running your studio. So first of all, those of you guys who are typing in the chat room, make sure you start typing in your questions now. Don't wait for an official Q&A moment so that I can have the questions all queued up for me here, and then I'll be able to help you guys out. I also have some questions that people wrote into us that are kind of the bigger questions that we get from our students, and I want to make sure that I answer those questions for you as well. And then at the end, for those of you guys who are looking to take this further with additional tools and training and support, I have something special to show you guys at the end of this webinar, so make sure you stick around until then. So let's go ahead and get started. And hello, everybody typing in: Jennifer, Amanda, Claire, Valerie, Penny. We have lots of people from the UK and Canada today, which is really awesome. And for those of you guys listening to the replay, hello to you as well. I'm sorry you can't be here live, but if you have any questions, just feel free to write to us in an email. So I want to show you guys a roadmap that Karen and I have created. And for those of you who don't know, Karen and I have created, I have the right one on the screen here. So Karen and I have created the official curriculum for the Business of Yoga that is approved by both Yoga Alliance and Yoga Journal. So we are in partnership with Yoga Journal to teach the Business of Yoga exclusively as their business directors. And we've been teaching at all the conferences and events. You will find us in the magazines, and so lucky to be on their website. It's such a beautiful and amazing platform that we feel really blessed to be able to share on. And we also have everything accredited with the Yoga Alliance for the first official 40-hour, 10-week curriculum for the Business of Yoga. Now, obviously, I won't be able to share everything from our curriculum, from our online course with you in this webinar that we're doing right now, but I want to share as much as I can with you and answer your questions so that you guys have a clear understanding of what it really means and what it really takes to have a successful yoga business. And we don't want to be afraid of saying the word business in yoga. A lot of people get really triggered, and I want you to notice if that comes up in you when they hear the word business of yoga or business in yoga. We start talking about branding and marketing and money. And Karen and I don't shy away from this because here's the truth of the matter, okay? Yoga has transformed a lot. It is not the same practice as it lands in the world as it was thousands of years ago. It's just not. This is just the reality. Never before in history, before 20 or 30 years ago, would anyone ever consider making a full-time living to support themselves and their family teaching yoga. That was never a thing, right? But now it is. And so for those people who are interested in doing that and interested in earning some income, reaching a lot of students, building a brand, sending their message out to the world, helping people heal, helping people understand the power of yoga, and receiving the energy exchange of financial freedom in exchange for that, these are our students, right? These are the people who we're interested in talking to. And I don't want you to get me wrong here. Karen and I are very deeply steeped in the practices of yoga. I got trained 10 years ago in my yoga teacher training, been practicing for 10 years. Karen's been practicing for 15. We're both certified teachers. I practice meditation more than I practice anything in my practice. I love all the spirituality and aspects of it, and so does Karen. And so we never ask our students to do anything that's out of integrity. We always want you to know that when you're selling yoga, it is different. We don't want you to sound like a used car salesman or woman. This is not that. This is about selling from your heart and understanding that what we're selling, quote unquote, is something that's helping people. And when you understand how to make those heart connections, you will understand that all you are when you're selling is a bridge between somebody who's stuck and them getting to where they want to go. And yoga is that vessel for them to get through. And your job to sell is to just convince them or show them what's possible on the other side of this bridge. So let me go through this mandala that I have on the screen right now. In the center of the mandala is your root intention, your sankalpa. This is what holds everything together. Nothing that we do in the business of yoga has any relevance without you understanding your intention as a teacher. I was just listening to something that Oprah actually said after her Golden Globes win in the press room. And Oprah said, when you align your personality with your purpose, you cannot fail. And what this means is that when you are telling stories that only you can tell, when your personality with who you really are as a person, that's what I mean by personality, when who you really are as a person goes to serve the message and what you are doing in the world, you cannot fail. This is why when you look at someone like Oprah or someone like Sean Korn or someone like Shiva Ray, you look at them and you know that they're in their dharma because every single thing that they're doing is fully authentic to them. It is fully who they really are. And this is why we're so attracted to these figures, because their authenticity shines through. And we want this for you as well. Your root intention, your sankalpa, is the glue that holds this mandala together. It is the center of everything that we do. So getting clear on your intention is super important. And then I'm just going to briefly go through the rest of the petals, and then I'll go through some questions that people ask. And please, those of you who are here live, please feel free to type in some questions in the chat box so that I can answer them for you. That's one of the big benefits of you guys being here if you have questions about your business or questions about the online course. So foundation is the first petal at the top. And the foundation petal is really about, obviously, the foundation of your business. And just like in a yoga pose, once you have a strong foundation, you have the stability to rise and be free. So this is all talking about the core of what you're building. And then we go into the connection phase, which is about how we connect your foundation, your vision, with other students. So how do we turn this into a business plan? How do we connect your ideas into something tangible in the real world? That's the connection phase. And then we have the expression phase, which is right here at the bottom. And the expression phase is all about how you express your vision, obviously. So this is your website, your social media, your photos, your branding, your colors, your Instagram. This is expression. Now, I want you to notice, and I'll come back to this, that expression is third. Expression is not first. We cannot properly express in authenticity without understanding why the hell we're doing what we're doing, what the foundation is, and why we're doing it. Like, what's the connection to the real world? Once we understand that whole plan, expression becomes easy, becomes super easy. And then finally, we have freedom. And freedom for us is about being able to charge what you're worth, knowing your value, knowing how to negotiate with heart and power, knowing how to increase your rates as you learn more as a yoga teacher, learning how to continue to evolve your teaching as you evolve as a practitioner. We have so many people who don't have the freedom to evolve as teachers because they're stuck in something that they've created 10 years ago and they haven't been able to evolve, even though it's not part of their practice anymore. And also your continuing education and success as a business owner. And this is something really important that I want to mention here, is that business as someone, make sure my webcam is back on. So as somebody who is looking to make a living teaching yoga, who is looking to reach, and I don't even want to say a lot of people, because it's, even if it's just about reaching people in your personal community, that matters, right? That matters. So when you're doing this, you have to understand that you have to be spending 50% of your time in your business. This is one of the things Karen always says, and 50% of your time working on your business. So in your business and on your business. In your business is when you are being the yogi, right? It is when you are taking additional trainings and immersions. It's when you're doing your personal practice. It's when you're actually teaching students. It's when you're going to those festivals. Working on your business, which is a big thing that a lot of yoga teachers skip, is when you are actually working on the business building tools that you need to be a successful yoga instructor and continue to spread your message and reach more people. So this is learning about marketing, learning about branding, sending your email newsletters, planning out your calendar, writing a vision, setting goals, understanding your values, creating programs and offerings, right? If that sounds overwhelming to you already, it's because you haven't set out the time, carved out the time and the structure to do this properly. And that's why today, one of the main things I want to make sure that you guys all get is the structure that you need to do this properly so that you're not wasting any time. We've had so many of our teachers that have taken our online course say to us, I did everything the hard way. Like I did everything trial and error, and I tried so many things that didn't work. And now that I have this system, I understand what works, and I'm so grateful. So I'm going to go through each of the petals: foundation, expression, foundation, connection, expression, and freedom. And I'm going to talk about the main questions that we got in our email from other people who weren't able to make the webinar live. And then I'm going to answer your guys' questions here. And then I have something special to offer just you guys, okay? Just the people who are here watching this, whether you're watching the recording or watching live, for the people who are ready to take this further. So first off, foundation. This is a big thing, and Deb, this really unpacks, one of your things as well. So you have to understand, people always ask us in foundation, how do I stand out? What makes me unique? There's so many yoga teachers in the world, like, how am I different? What makes me different and unique? What makes you different and unique is that you're you. That's it. There's no better answer than that. So the more you can be, the more authentic you can be, the more natural and free that you can really be with yourself as a person, not just as the yoga teacher version of you, but as you, the more likely your tribe is going to be able to find you, because you're being who you really are. And this is what really matters. So I want all of you, the biggest teaching here, and this is one of Karen's best teachings, is to understand why you are teaching yoga. Why? What is it that you're trying to share with the world? And why is it? This is the big thing, okay? So I want you to be self-reflexive about this. First question is, what are you sharing with the world? And the second question is, why is it you that is the person that's sharing it? Why is it you? And it's not a way to ask yourself, like, am I worthy of doing this? You are worthy of teaching anything that you feel called to teach. But I want you to remember that the story that you're able to tell is it has to be uniquely and authentically you. You need to be the only person that can tell that story. And the thing is it doesn't mean you have to go start creating like yoga with cats and all these crazy things. Even if you're teaching vinyasa, which thousands of teachers teach in the United States, what is it about you that makes the way you teach vinyasa authentic to who you are as a person? So this goes into your story, your defining moment. If you look up our YouTube account, you'll see that we have many videos on defining moment in your story. So I want you guys to look that up, because I can't give you the whole teaching here, but this is something that all of the students in our online course do pretty much right away. Now, the other big thing is to look at your vision. Now, Your vision is like setting your GPS. And you guys all know, I'm sure you've done vision boards and written visions and all that. And we have a special guide that we take our students through to help them really do a vision that actually turns into action, because we feel like a vision without goals, a vision is beautiful, but a vision without tangible goals is really just a burden. So we have a system that our students go through that really takes you through a vision to bring it into manifest. And what you need to do is make sure you set a vision for yourself, but do not, this is the big thing, do not fall into the trap thinking that there's only one path for yoga teachers. This is what we see. The people think that the only thing that's possible is that they go do a 200-hour teacher training, they start substituting at a studio for some short period of time, then hopefully they get a class, then they get a class, then maybe 3 or 5 years later, then maybe they do a retreat, then maybe they can do a teacher training. No. I'll tell you the honest truth. If I was starting to teach yoga today in 2018, I would not teach at a yoga studio because it's not aligned with me. It's not aligned with what I'm doing in the world. And guess what? I'm not putting anything against yoga studios, but when Yoga Alliance and Yoga Journal did their last study, I think the number is, out of all the millions of people that say they practice yoga in the United States, only 17% said they practiced in a yoga studio. I want you to really think about what that means. Out of millions of people in the United States, only 17% of people practicing yoga practice in a studio. That means the other 87% or whatever that is practicing in other places. They're practicing in gyms, they're practicing in churches, they're practicing online, they're practicing at home, they're practicing with their friends at the park, they're practicing at the beach, they're practicing at work, they're practicing in community groups. So remember that we have so many teachers who are making six figures, many of them. This is not impossible at all. In fact, it's not even hard if you know the roadmap. Many teachers who are making 6 figures teaching yoga, never setting foot in a studio. Now, I'm not saying that you cannot do that in a studio. A studio is a route, but it's not the only route. So you have to create the vision for yourself. And the way to do this, I'll go into our second pedal, which was over here. This is connection. Okay, connection is really, and this is directly to your question, Deb, about really going for one skill. And we teach this to our students called avatar clients. It's about narrowing your focus so clearly in such a defined way that it cuts through, just cuts straight through all the noise of everyone else who's doing the same shit. Okay? Yes, it is true that most yoga teachers that we see are rinse and repeat yoga teachers. They learn something from one of their teachers and then they just copy, or they see something else in another class and they just copy. You cannot be just another version of your teacher, right? You have to learn to really cultivate your authentic voice and who you really are. Now, what this requires is you learning how to define your avatar clients. Now, I can't give you the whole teaching here. This is something that we do with all of our students with a clear roadmap, but I'm going to give you the nuts and bolts so you can start thinking about this, okay? So your avatar clients are your ideal clients, are the people who you would most benefit serving, the people who you want to serve, the people who you should be serving based on who you really are and your authenticity and your story. Now, what a lot of yoga teachers say and think is, well, I want to teach everybody. I want everyone. I want yoga supposed to be for everybody. It is, but not through you. You can't teach everybody, right? One of the sayings is you can have it all, but just not all at the same time. You can have it all. You can do everything you've ever wanted to create, but just not all at the same time. That is a quote, okay? You can have it all, just not all at the same time. And so you have to laser focus your energy for 1 year. Focus on one style, one type, one focus, one audience. So that makes the people who know, who think they need you, they're able to find you. Let me give you a clear example, okay? With the business of yoga, everything that we're doing, all our whole programming, a lot of people ask us, well, why don't you call this the business of health and wellness or the business of fitness? Because everything that you're teaching really works for Pilates teachers and spin instructors and, you know, personal trainers. It works for all of those people. It even works for people that are selling essential oils or massage therapists. So why don't you just say the business of health and wellness or the business of fitness? Now, we could, because actually what we teach does help all of those people. However, Karen and I'm not a Pilates teacher. That's not authentic to me. I don't do Pilates. I'm not a massage therapist. I'm not interested in that at all. I love massages, but I'm not interested in the field of massage therapy. It's not authentic to me. Yes, you might think I might be able to make more money teaching more of them, but it's not true, because check this out. Because I'm a yogi, I can speak directly to you as a yoga teacher because I know what you've been through. I know your story. I can relate to what you're going through. I've had to build my own classes. I taught yoga for years in Los Angeles, where there's a yoga studio at every stone's throw. I had to learn how to do that myself, so I understand, right? And because of this, you as a yoga teacher, you know that I get you. And so we call it the business of yoga, because yoga teachers will know that we have what they need. If we called it the business of fitness or health and wellness, guess what you guys would say? Oh, I heard Karen and Justin have good teachings, but the business of fitness, I don't know. Yoga's just so different. Yoga's different. It's not for me. I don't want to, it's not similar to spin and Pilates, so it's not for me. So we would then wash out everything that we could create because we weren't being specific enough, because we wanted it to be appropriate for everybody. Is this making sense, you guys? I really hope this clicks, because out of everything that I'm going to talk about with you guys today, when it comes to cutting through your business as a teacher, this is the key. You have to be specific. And it has to be authentic to who you really are and relate to your personality and story. Okay, so I'll give you an example of somebody that that we've worked with in our online course, and somebody who's actually a good friend of mine. So he is, his name is Cameron, and he is teaching what he loves. So he grew up as a raver. Now I'm going to give you guys a way out there example, but I'm going to show you how this crap works. It really works. He grew up in his childhood, in his early teens and 20s, being a raver, okay, doing rave and going out to rave parties and all this kind of stuff. And then years ago, he got trained as a yogi. And he's always felt like when he was out at these raves and parties and Coachella and all this stuff, like how incredible it could be if people could learn to center themselves and become more present in themselves before and during their experience out at these festivals and music festivals and raves and parties. So him knowing that, like, he was a raver, he is still, and he loves it, but he's also a yogi. And some people would go, oh my God, rave and yoga, oh, that's terrible. Well, great, guess what? You're not his student. But there are plenty of people, think about the thousands of people who practice yoga who go to raves. There's many of them. And so he decided to create a very specific program, even though he was teaching to tons of people. He had this open thing. He would sometimes play techno music, but he didn't want to be specific to ravers at first. But then he decided, you know what, for 1 year, I'm going to listen to what Justin and Karen said. I'm going to go through this entire process that I did in the online course, and I'm going to focus on really cutting through with yoga for ravers. Rave power yoga, he called it. And guess what? His audience found him. He built a huge community. He's taking groups and festivals, taking groups to festivals and curating experiences for them. They go to festivals together. They stay in a house. It's like a retreat. He does yoga with them in the morning. Then they go off to the festival. Then at the festival, they meet up together and they do yoga together. And it's all these ravers. They're his community. They love him. They want to hang out with him because he's a raver, but he's also super conscious and meditates. Now, I want you to see how that worked. Authentic to who he was, clear and defined audience, and went for it 100%. And didn't care that other people thought that it was bullshit. Doesn't matter, because guess what? There's tons of people out there who are waiting for your message. So distill it down. This is going to cut you through. I spent a lot of time on this because it's one of the most important things that we teach, okay? Now, let's go to the next pedal, expression, which was on the bottom. The expression pedal is important, but it only comes after the first two. And most of our teachers will come to us and they will say, oh, like, I want to build a website. And we're like, okay, what's your vision? What are your values? Do you have your avatar clients? Who are you serving? And they're like, oh, I don't know. I just need to build a website. What? Well, what's on your website? Who are you talking to? What's on your social media? What kind of photos are you posting? What audience are you building? We don't know the answers to any of those questions. And this is why so many people tell us they go on Instagram, they go on Facebook, and they just don't really have results. They may get likes on their photos, but they don't get a lot of people actually coming to their classes and workshops. But guess what? It's because the other work wasn't done. So it's so important that you do this other work first. Go back to the example of the rave power yoga with Cameron. So if we do that and we understand, guess what? His marketing is easy, right? Even the name of his business was easy because so we're doing power yoga and we're focusing on ravers. What's the name? Rave Power Yoga. Boom, snap. Nothing to even think about. Who's my audience? Ravers. So where do I need to find them? I need to go on all the social media sites and follow different people who are going to different festivals. Boom, got it. It's like it all becomes so easy once you understand the steps. So now on Instagram, what am I posting? I'm posting me doing yoga to rave music. I'm putting out videos of me doing practices to techno. Like it all goes there. It all lines up. So once you have all the other pieces together, the expression becomes very easy. The expression is just a reflection of who you are. I want to say one more thing that just keeps kind of downloading to me. One of my mentors told me this. So he said, being successful and cutting above the noise in any industry, because in every industry right now, there's so much noise, right? It's like getting through the eye of a needle, right? Getting straight through the eye of a needle. You can, even though you have lots of skills and talents, it's really hard to get through the eye of a whole thing, the eye of the needle. Then you can create whatever you want because you made it through. You have the audience. Build anything at that point. But if you're building too many things, I know it's hard, but just remember, you can have it all. You just can't have it all right now. Okay? You can't have it all at the same time. You guys can quote me on that one. If those of you guys are on Instagram, by the way, I like to tell you guys my personal Instagram, I'm typing it in the chat box, is at WeJustWill. That's for Justin Williams. So if you guys want to send me a message or follow me there, I'll always write back and follow back. And that's a great quote that I'm going to just put right here. You can have it all. You just can't have it all at the same time. Boom. Or you just can't have it all right now. All right, so there's that. So now we go, and I see your questions coming in your comments. I'll get to those in a second. So now we go into freedom. Freedom. Freedom for us means that you have the freedom to continue to grow and evolve with your business. I can tell you this. There's been over 500 teachers from over 40 countries who've taken our programs. We teach them how to do all this work. And one of the big things that's important for me and Karen is we make sure that you understand that you're a business owner. You're an entrepreneur. You're not just a yoga teacher. You have to own it. You have to look at your shadow and see why you're even afraid to own the fact that you're an entrepreneur or a business owner. And when you do that, everything blossoms open for you. And when we take people through our programs, we give them step-by-step guides. One of the reasons we created our online course was really because we were sick of all these programs and all these workshops and events and teacher trainings where all the teachers leave with is a notebook full of shit to do that they don't know how to get done. Excuse my French. Excuse my French. I like French here. A notebook full of stuff to do that they don't know how to get done. So our program, we created something where we take you through everything. We teach you all about it and give you the action items to actually get the items done. And what getting it done does is it creates a freedom, which is why I'm getting to this pedal, for you to completely understand how it all works so you can keep recreating and recreating and recreating yourself over and over and over again, because that's what has to happen, okay? Wow, Valerie says she has this quote tattooed in Spanish on her back. That's amazing. I've never heard anybody say that before. That's beautiful. So anyway, back to the topic. When you learn the process in the system and you go through it and you actually have the steps that you need to take to get it done, then you know how to keep recreating yourself as you need to, because guess what? You're going to change. You're going to grow. You're going to evolve. Rave power yoga might not be interesting to you when you're 50 years old, but guess what? It's okay because you know how to continue to grow and build your audience. And you also know that one of the other things is knowing how to continue to charge what you're worth, negotiate with comfort without feeling stress and anxiety about it, and how to increase your rates as you learn more as a teacher. So that covers our mandala. And those are the main questions from our mandala. Now I'm going to look at your chat box here and see what questions I have. Amanda, well, let me start at the bottom. So Deb, I think I answered your question, yeah? And then Jennifer, something I'm finding challenging at this time in my community is that other teachers have recently started drastically lowering class prices to try and gain new students. Potential students see these lower prices, then wonder why my class rates are set the way they are. Those who straight up ask me inform me about training, overhead, but I wonder how many others don't bother asking and go for the cheapest classes. Look, We can't worry about this. There's lots of people who go for cheaper things. Karen and I don't subscribe to this at all. There are people who do massage who charge $500 an hour, and there are people who do massage who charge $25 an hour. The person who does 25 might be way better and more trained than the person who's $500 an hour. The question is, what are you worth? You have to decide. And it's not saying that you have to charge $500 an hour, but what are you willing to work for? What does the energy exchange feel good for to what you have done, what you've trained, and what you're bringing to the table? And remember this, okay? If I have 3 clients at $500 an hour, how many clients would I have to even make that much money if I'm charging $25 an hour? A lot of clients. So Karen and I subscribe to the idea that when we're looking for our avatar clients, we're looking for people who are not in the fear consciousness, or we look for students who are in abundance consciousness, not in lack consciousness. So we look for yoga teachers to take our programs and our courses. Our program's not cheap. We know it's not cheap, but we know with certainty that the teachers who are willing to invest will make every dollar they spent on our course back in 2 months. Like, we know that, but we can't convince you of that. You have to want to invest. And that's why our avatar clients, our ideal clients, are teachers who live in abundance consciousness. So there are many teachers who live in lack consciousness. Just like Jennifer, there are many students who just want to take the cheapest yoga class. Those are not your clients. Now, a thing that I'm going to say to you about classes, if you are teaching a yoga class and having more students in class does not increase the dollars that you make, maybe you shouldn't be spending all your time trying to fill up your public classes. Why? As we see so many teachers spending all this energy and all this time trying to get people to their public classes. But even if they had 10 people or 20 people, their ego might feel better because there's more people in class, but they're making the same amount of money. What's the point of doing all that work? Instead, remember, if you're building your public classes, the only way to financial freedom is to have a higher priced item. Every yoga teacher that we know that is successful financially knows that public classes you should be doing those for free, basically. They're not the way to financial freedom. Public classes are the way for you to get in front of new people, often, and hopefully funnel them down. We have a whole system. Our business model is called the funnel. Funnel them down to, like, honestly, a higher priced item, like a workshop, retreat, teacher training, or an event. Because it's in these items that you're able to charge per person and then make more money. There are yoga teachers who are successful financially teaching just public classes, but guess what? They're stressed out. They're running all over town. They don't have any time for themselves. They're not well in their bodies. So we don't recommend that. Teach your public classes if you want to, and make sure you understand that that's the top of your funnel. The top of the funnel is just where people know about you. And then you have to have something to offer them. What so many teachers do when they don't have something to offer, a bigger program to offer, a higher priced program to offer. And we're not just talking higher price just for the sake of raising the price. I'm talking higher price because it's higher value. You only raise the price and the energy exchange when the value exchange is equal to that. So this is what happens. I'll have a teacher who, let's say they're teaching meditation, okay, in their public classes, and they love meditation. They've done a training, they love meditation, but they don't think they're really ready to teach a workshop yet. They don't think they're really ready to host an immersion yet because, you know, somebody else can do that. So what they basically do is those teachers, they do all the heavy lifting for another teacher's workshop. They do all the heavy lifting, convincing students, every public class, 3 times a week, convincing students that meditation's important. And then when those students are finally ready and they're like, you know what, I'm loving these meditations I'm doing in your class, I want to learn more. And you don't have anything to offer them, they're going to go to someone else. So you just did all the work to get them to go pay $500 to some other person, when really they would train with you if you had something to offer them. So you have to create a program that is signature to you. We call it a signature program, and we teach all of our students to do that. So Jennifer, great question. Amanda, this is so refreshing to hear because I have put off teaching second to my day job because it would take so many years to make a living teaching. False. I'll tell you this. We have a student named Happy Jack Boken. He's a Baron Baptiste teacher that's been through our program a couple of years ago. When he met us, he was making $20,000 a year living in his car. $20,000 isn't terrible. We know plenty of people who are living fine off of that. but it wasn't where he wanted to be. It wasn't his vision. $20,000 a year living in his car. He took our program the very next calendar year. So by the end of that calendar year, he was making over 100K. This is what happens when you know the system. This is what happens when you know the system. It doesn't take time. It is actually easy when you know the roadmap and you don't have to make all the mistakes, okay? So let's see, more questions. Jennifer, thank you. That's how I feel, but I had some moment of doubt this week looking at more specialized offering closer to my heart. That's it, love. Closer to your heart, Jennifer, is what I am looking for. That is, you said that word exactly the right way. Don't just think about what can I create for people that's going to make money? What can I create for people that's going to be different? What can I create for people that's going to be unique? That question will never, ever, ever lead you in the right path, ever. You don't look outside to decide what you're going to create. You look inside. What is close to my heart that I want to share? What is close to my heart that is a story that I can tell? What's close to my heart that I can give to people to really help them empower and impact their lives in a way that is meaningful and also fills me up? Create that close to your heart. And that's going to make the biggest impact on you in your business. I feel like I'm preaching to you guys today. So let me, as you guys type in more questions, if you have them, let me go over something else that we have really quick here. So I'm going to just pull up a different version of the mandala. And this is for those of you guys who are ready. This won't be for everybody. This is really for those of you who are like kind of serious about taking this to the next level. So I'm pulling up our full mandala that has the exact curriculum for what's in each section. And I want, even if you guys choose not to work with us further, I want everybody on this webinar to have this curriculum like outline, the syllabus really, to understand that you have to do each of these steps to run a successful yoga business. It's basically what's required. It's the proven formula. It's approved by Yoga Alliance and Yoga Journal. We know that this is the way it works, and it doesn't work if you skip something. Like you can't go, ooh, I kind of want to do my vision, but I'm going to skip my values. And because I don't really want to do that or I already know them, it doesn't work that way. When you put everything together, we can say with guarantee that it's going to work. So the first section in foundation is vision, values, purpose. Vision, we talked about. Values is understanding what really matters to you. So for Cameron, rave music really matters to him, right? For some teachers, meditation and spirituality really matters to them. For some people, being vegan really matters to them. It's a value. And if you hide your values and you try to hide them because you want to be like everyone else, you want everyone to like you, then you're missing a huge opportunity because you want to attract students who have similar values to you. Those are the students who are going to remain in your tribe, in your community. And guess what? They're going to be a community because they also all have the same values. And because they have your values and you have their values, and they have each other's values, they're going to love each other. And they're going to love going to workshops and events. And they're going to make friends. And they're going to be a community. And then purpose is really talking about, which we focused on, is what is your purpose as a teacher? What is it that you're trying to bring into the world? Foundation, expression or connection is next. Community, I just talked about community a little bit, but really we throw this word community around in yoga a lot. We say build community, have a community, but what does it really mean to build a community? A community is not just you knowing your students or your students knowing you. It's your students knowing each other. When you have like values, you create a community, a tribe of people who will automatically love each other and get along because they share common values. How do you actually do that? What does that mean? What are the tools that you do in a yoga studio or in a community center to build this? We talk about building partnerships, creating your business funnel, which I very briefly touched on, which is our version of a business plan that drives people to your higher priced programs. Your signature gift, which is how you build your email list. And then heart-centered sales, which is so important. Yes, we are exchanging money for programs. No, we are not used car salesmen and women. We are yoga teachers. So you have to understand that you have to be able to sell from your heart. Okay, this is super important. Now we go to expression, which is your branding, marketing and social media, your authentic voice and website. So let me talk about authentic voice for a second. This is a huge one for me. Authentic voice is, you have to talk like you. You guys hear me talking on here. Can you believe that the way that I'm talking to you right now is the same way that I talk to all my friends, the same way that I talk to anybody around me, right? I'm not putting on namaste yogis. This is Justin Michael Williams with the Business of Yoga. Namaste. No, that's not who I am. I cuss. I'm me. Okay, if you go to Sean Korn's class, if you go to Shiva Ray's class, if you go to Sadie Nardini's class, if you go to Sienna Sherman's class, if you go to Annie Carpenter's class, they are them. Be you. Don't put on this act of like, now I'm putting on my yoga teacher voice. Now I'm putting on my yoga teacher personality. People are not interested in that. That's how you become a rinse and repeat yoga teacher, okay? Authentic voice is super important. And I talked about website and branding and all that stuff. It all becomes very easy once we know the stuff above. And then lastly, freedom, managing money, contracts, negotiation, and sustained success, knowing how to continually evolve and grow in your business. So this is our mandala, and I want you guys to have this whole roadmap here. You're not going to get a copy of this PDF because this is something basically just for our online course students. But you guys will get all a replay recording of this webinar if you need to watch it again. Now, here's the big news, okay? Here's the really big news, is I have something very, very special to offer you guys. So for those, and this is really not going to be for everybody, but there's some people on this webinar and we practice what we preach. Karen and I do everything we teach you guys to do. And so it would be a disservice for those of you guys who are on this webinar and you're thinking, you know what, I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready to take this seriously. I'm ready to take this further. Whether I'm new or I've been teaching for a long time, I have a vision and I want to bring it manifest into the world. For those of you guys who are ready, I want to offer you guys a scholarship for $400, a $400 scholarship to the Business of Yoga online course, which starts tomorrow. The Business of Yoga online course is the best thing Karen and I have ever created. It begins tomorrow, and it is everything that I covered in that mandala, every single thing that you saw in that mandala. You are not just learning about it, you're getting it done with actions and assignments to do in your community where you are, no matter if you're in a big city or a small town, if you're a teacher or a studio owner, if you've been teaching for a long time, or if you're just getting started. We've considered all that and put it together in, honestly, my opinion, one of the best programs I've ever created in my life. It's the biggest heart offering that we have. And what a lot of our teachers ask us is they say, well, can you guarantee that it's going to work? Here's what I say. I could guarantee with 100% certainty that if you do everything that we say, and if you actually put in the work that we're suggesting that you do, and you do all the action items, you'll make every single dollar back that you spent on this course a month after you do the course. With certainty. It's every single teacher who's taken it and has done the work has experienced that. If you don't show up, we can't guarantee you anything, right? So that's our guarantee. And to top it off, we stand so strongly behind this course that we have 100% money back guarantee for anyone who takes the course and doesn't find it valuable. So you get 100% money back guarantee, no questions asked if you do not like the course. That's how much we believe in it. And we want you to believe in your programs that much as well. So I'm going to put a link here for you guys. I'm going to put a link in the chat box for you guys to to get started in the course if you're interested. And I'm going to put a promo code here as well for you guys to use your $400 scholarship, which is only active today. That's it. When you watch this replay, it's active for you for that day, and it automatically turns off based on when you watch the course. So here is the link, and here is the code. Okay. Use code, the link is in the chat box. Use the code BOY Secret, and that will give you a $400 scholarship to the program. It's half off. This is not me trying to, you guys know, I just explained our whole system to you. This is not me trying to push anything on you. Here's what it is. Those of you listening who are ready, this is what we have for you. Those of you who are not ready, it's fine. It is actually totally fine. We have free trainings, free videos, free webinars, because we're committed to making sure that we help people get to the point that they're ready to really make that step. So if you guys have any questions about the Business of Yoga online course, I'm also going to put it, I'm also going to put this here for you guys. I'll put an offer up, Business of Yoga online course. Click here, and then the code is BOY Secret for $400 scholarship. This is just for you guys on the webinar. This is nowhere else. And I'm putting something up on the screen right now that you guys should be able to see that has the offer. So if you want to click on it, it would work for you. And yeah, If you guys have questions, let me know. I'm going to sit here for a few minutes and see if anything comes up about the course or about your businesses in general. But just know that regardless of whether you choose to work with us or not, Karen and I are really here to help. We're here to serve you. We're here as resources for our community. Some people are ready to really go there and take it to the next level. Some people need a little bit more time to get themselves prepared. Wherever you are, we're here to support you and meet you. Okay? So I am going to sit here for another minute or so and see if any questions come in. If not, please know that I'm so grateful for your time today. I'm so grateful for your energy, and I'm mostly really grateful for the work that we're all doing in the world. We created the business of yoga because we know that being a yoga teacher is not easy. It's not usually a path that we just choose because, oh, I'm just going to be a yoga teacher. You know, it's you really have a passion to serve people. And we believe that if yoga teachers learn to use the business tools and the marketing tools better than the alcohol industry and the cigarette industry and the music industry and the fashion industry, if we as yogis become empowered enough to learn to use these tools that all these other industries are using to create major influence in the world, we're going to change the world. So thank you so much for being with me today. Karen sends her love. And for those of you guys who will be working with in the course, we look forward to connecting more. And for the rest of you, we'll be sending a video once a week, and you guys can talk to us on our next free webinar. Mwah! Love you all. Namaste.